The Signal Beneath the Stars. Part 1. The Impossible Whisper. The year was 2047. For decades, humanity had listened to the universe. Gigantic radio telescopes stood across deserts, mountains, and frozen plains. Their dishes pointed toward distant stars, searching for something that had never been found. A signal, not a random burst of radiation, not a natural phenomenon. Something intelligent, something impossible. Most scientists had stopped expecting success. The universe was simply too large, too old, too silent. But silence itself was about to become the greatest mystery in human history. Dr. Ethan Cross sat alone in Observatory 7, a remote facility located high above the Atacama Desert. The sky above him was so clear that it looked unreal. Millions of stars filled the darkness. Entire galaxies glowed faintly overhead. Ethan had spent nearly 20 years studying deep space radio emission. He had analyzed so many meaningless signals that he could recognize interference patterns almost instantly. Satellite noise, solar storms, pulsars, quasars. Every strange signal eventually revealed a natural explanation, at least that had always been true before tonight. The alert appeared at 2:17 a.m. A small red icon flashed on his monitor. Normally, he would have ignored it. False alarms happened every week. Yet something immediately felt different. The detection software had classified the transmission as statistically impossible. Ethan frowned. The software was never programmed to use words like impossible, only probabilities. He opened the report. The incoming signal originated from a region of space, approximately 600 light-years away. That alone wasn't unusual. The pattern was, instead of random fluctuation, the transmission contained mathematical sequences, prime numbers, perfect ratios, geometric structures. The signal repeated every 11 minutes. Exactly. No variation, no drift, no distortion. Ethan's heart began beating faster. Nature rarely behaved with such precision. He verified the data source, then checked again and again. Everything appeared genuine. No equipment malfunction, no software error, no atmospheric interference. The signal was real. For nearly an hour he sat motionless, analyzing, testing, searching for flaws, finding none. Finally, he contacted the International Monitoring Network. Within minutes, observatories around the world turned toward the same coordinates. Australia, South Africa, Canada, Japan, Chile. Every station reported identical results. The signal existed. Humanity had just detected something unlike anything ever observed. News spread slowly at first, then all at once. By sunrise, scientists across the globe were examining the transmission. Governments demanded reports. Universities organized emergency meetings. Social media exploded. The public quickly divided into two camps. One side believed aliens had finally been discovered. The other insisted it was another misunderstanding that would soon be explained. Ethan remained cautious. Extraordinary claims required extraordinary evidence. Yet even he could not ignore the growing sense that something historic had happened. 3 days later, the second anomaly appeared. Researchers successfully translated the mathematical layers of the signal. Hidden beneath them was something unexpected. A map, not of Earth, not of the solar system, not even of nearby stars. The structure represented a region of space nobody recognized. Thousands of points connected by luminous pathways, an enormous network. At first, astronomers assumed it depicted galaxies. Then someone noticed a terrifying detail. The scale was wrong. The distances involved were far too small. The map represented individual star systems, thousands of them, linked together, as if someone had built highways between suns. The implications were staggering. No civilization known to science could accomplish such a thing, not even humanity centuries from now. Yet the mathematical precision suggested intentional design. A meeting was held at the United Nations Scientific Assembly. For the first time in history, representatives from every major space agency gathered to discuss a single discovery. The atmosphere inside the conference hall felt electric. Screens displayed the mysterious map. Experts argued for hours. Some believed it was symbolic. Others believed it represented advanced physics. A few suggested it might be a warning. Nobody agreed on anything. Then a young researcher from Germany noticed another pattern. One point on the map flashed repeatedly. A specific star, a destination. When the coordinates were calculated, silence filled the room. The highlighted location was real. An actual star system, 600 light-years away. The exact origin of the signal. The transmission wasn't merely broadcasting information. It was pointing directly back to itself, as though someone wanted humanity to look there. That realization changed everything. Within months, international funding flooded into astronomy. New telescopes were constructed. Old observatories were upgraded. Artificial intelligence systems analyzed every piece of incoming data. Humanity had become obsessed, and still the signal continued, every 11 minutes, without fail, without explanation. Then came the third anomaly. One night Ethan was reviewing archived recordings when he noticed something extraordinary. The signal wasn't identical each cycle. Tiny variations existed, far too small for human observers to notice, but not for modern algorithms. After weeks of analysis, a hidden message emerged, a sequence of symbols, thousands of them. Nobody understood their meaning at first. Then an AI language model discovered a recurring structure, grammar, syntax, rules. The symbols formed a language, an actual language, not random data, not mathematics, communication. Someone was speaking. The world changed overnight. Financial markets reacted. Religious leaders issued statements. Governments increased security measures. Military organizations quietly began contingency planning. For the first time, humanity faced undeniable evidence that intelligence might exist beyond Earth. Yet the greatest shock was still coming. Months later, the AI completed its first partial translation. The message contained only 6 words. 6 words that would alter human history forever. The translation appeared simultaneously on screens around the world. Scientists stared in disbelief. Politicians demanded verification. Citizens watched live broadcasts in stunned silence. The message read, "We found the edge. Do not follow." Nobody understood what it meant, but everyone understood one thing. Someone had sent it, and they were afraid. Far beyond Earth, far beyond known space. Something had terrified a civilization, advanced enough to connect entire stars. And somehow their warning had crossed 600 light-years to reach humanity. Ethan looked up from the screen. Outside the observatory, the stars glittered peacefully above the desert. For the first time in his life, they no longer felt beautiful. They felt dangerous, because somewhere out there, hidden beyond the darkness, was a place called the Edge. And whoever discovered it never wanted anyone else to go there. The signal beneath the stars. Part 2, the journey toward the Edge. The warning spread across Earth, faster than any event in recorded history. "We found the Edge. Do not follow." For months, those 6 words dominated every screen, every news broadcast, every scientific conference, and every conversation. Nobody could agree on what the message meant. What edge? The edge of the galaxy, the edge of the universe, the edge of reality itself. The questions multiplied faster than answer. Yet one fact remained undeniable. Someone had sent the warning. Someone intelligent. Someone advanced. Someone who appeared terrified. Humanity faced a choice. Ignore the message or investigate. The decision was made within a year. Investigation would begin immediately. An international project known as Horizon was announced. Its objective seemed impossible. Reach the source of the transmission, 600 light-years away. Under normal circumstances, the journey would require thousands of years. No existing spacecraft could accomplish such a mission, but the signal had already transformed science. Researchers examining the mysterious star map discovered something extraordinary hidden within its mathematical layers. The map was more than a map. It was also a blueprint. Encoded among the symbols were equations, unlike anything humanity had seen before. Entire branches of physics appeared to unfold from them. Some scientists initially believed the equations were meaningless. Others argued they represented concepts humanity simply had not yet discovered. After years of analysis, the truth became clear. The equations described a method of manipulating space itself, not faster than light travel, something stranger. Instead of moving a ship through space, the equation suggested folding space around the ship, reducing enormous distances to manageable scales. The concept sounded impossible, yet every test supported the mathematics. For decades, physicists had searched for shortcuts through space-time. Now it appeared an alien civilization had simply handed humanity the instructions. The first prototype drive was completed in 2063. The experiment lasted only 12 seconds. A small unmanned probe vanished from a laboratory in Nevada. At exactly the same moment, it appeared nearly 100,000 kilometers away. The scientific world erupted. Humanity had crossed a threshold. The stars were no longer unreachable. Within 10 years, construction began on the first interstellar vessel. Its name was Odyssey, nearly 3 kilometers long, powered by fusion reactors and the newly developed Fold drive, built by engineers from dozens of nations, the largest machine ever created. Its mission was simple: travel to the source of the signal, discover who sent the warning, learn what they feared. Dr. Ethan Cross, now 62 years old, watched the launch from a command center in orbit. He had spent almost 2 decades studying the transmission. Now the answer might finally be within reach. The crew consisted of 24 specialists: scientists, engineers, pilots, linguists, medical experts, the best humanity could offer. Among them was Commander Sarah Kane, a former astronaut known for remaining calm under impossible circumstances. As Odyssey departed Earth orbit, billions watched live broadcast. Humanity's first true voyage beyond the solar system had begun. The Fold drive activated 42 days later. Space distorted around the vessel. Stars stretched into impossible lines. Reality seemed to twist. Then everything snapped back into place. The crew found themselves nearly 50 light years from Earth. The calculations had worked. Cheers erupted across mission control. Humanity was crossing interstellar distances for the first time. Additional jumps followed, each successful, each bringing Odyssey closer to its destination. Years passed aboard the vessel. Although relativistic effects were minimized, the crew still aged. Friendships formed, routines developed. The mission became normal until they encountered the first structure. At first, sensors identified it as an asteroid. Then scans revealed geometric symmetry, artificial symmetry. The object measured nearly 100 kilometers across, a vast metallic construct drifting between stars. Nobody had expected evidence of alien engineering so soon. Odyssey approached cautiously. The structure appeared ancient, very ancient. Scars covered its surface. Sections had collapsed. Entire regions looked melted, as if exposed to unimaginable heat. Yet its overall shape remained recognizable. A ring, a gigantic ring, built around nothing. Sarah authorized a drone deployment. The drone entered a damaged section and transmitted images back to the ship. Gigantic corridors, massive chambers, technology beyond comprehension. Everything silent, everything abandoned. The crew searched for signs of life. They found none. Instead, they discovered something far more disturbing. Warnings, thousands of them, carved into walls, embedded into machinery, projected across ruined displays. Different languages, different symbols, different civilizations, yet all translated into essentially the same message. Do not continue. The crew stared at the recordings in silence. One warning could be coincidence. Thousands were not. Somehow multiple civilizations had reached this location, and every one of them had chosen to leave identical messages. Sarah transmitted the findings back toward Earth. The response would take years to arrive. For now, the decision rested with Odyssey: continue or turn back. After intense debate, the mission proceeded. They had come too far to stop. Weeks later, another discovery emerged. A pattern hidden among the warnings. Coordinates, thousands of coordinates, all pointing in the same direction, toward the destination star, toward the signal source, toward whatever lay ahead. The deeper Odyssey traveled, the stranger space became. Astronomical observations no longer behaved normally. Stars appeared where none should exist. Gravity fluctuated unexpectedly. Certain regions generated impossible sensor reading. Physics itself seemed unstable. Crew members grew uneasy. Several privately admitted they felt watched, not by something visible, but by something immense, something hidden, something aware. Nobody could prove it, yet the sensation spread throughout the ship. Then the dreams began. Crew members reported identical visions. Darkness, infinite darkness, a distant glow, and a colossal shape moving beyond perception. The reports were dismissed as stress-induced hallucination until every member of the crew experienced the same dream. Even Sarah, even the ship's artificial intelligence. That last detail terrified everyone. How could a machine dream? No explanation existed. The phenomenon continued, night after night. The same darkness, the same glow, the same unseen presence. Odyssey pressed onward. Months later, they finally reached the source star. The destination, identified in the original transmission. Excitement swept through the vessel. At last, answers. The star system appeared ordinary at first glance. A yellow-white sun, several planets, a belt of asteroids. Nothing remarkable. Then sensors located an object orbiting the outermost world. A structure, an enormous structure, larger than any spacecraft ever imagined, larger than some moons. The crew stared at the holographic display. Nobody spoke. The object resembled neither station nor ship. Its geometry shifted continuously. Angles changed. Surfaces rearranged themselves, as though the structure existed in more dimensions than human minds could fully perceive. Sarah ordered a slow approach. The closer they traveled, the more impossible the object appeared. Instruments malfunctioned. Optical systems disagreed with radar. Measurements contradicted one another. At times, the structure seemed millions of kilometers away. Seconds later, it appeared directly ahead. Then came the transmission. For 20 years, humanity had received only a repeating signal. Now a new message arrived. Direct, immediate, in perfect English. Every screen aboard Odyssey displayed the same sentence. You were warned. Silence filled the bridge. Then a second sentence appeared. We could not stop you. Crew members exchanged nervous glances. The translation system wasn't working. This wasn't being translated. The message was arriving already understandable, as if whoever sent it knew human language, or knew something even deeper. A final sentence emerged. The words appeared slowly, one at a time. Do not let IT see you. Before anyone could respond, every light aboard Odyssey went dark. For 3 terrifying seconds, the vessel drifted in complete silence. Then emergency systems activated. Alarms echoed throughout the ship. Sarah turned toward the main observation window and froze. The star itself had disappeared. Not dimmed, not exploded. Disappeared. Something enormous now occupied half the sky. Something that had not been there moments earlier. Something impossible. Something so large that the human mind struggled to comprehend its scale. And deep within the darkness, far larger than worlds, 2 faint points of light slowly opened, like eyes, watching, waiting, awake, the signal beneath the stars. Part 3, Beyond the Edge. Nobody moved. Nobody spoke. The bridge of Odyssey remained frozen in silence as the impossible object filled the darkness outside. 2 distant lights stared back at them. Eyes, or something resembling eyes. Human language lacked a better description. The scale alone defied comprehension. Entire planets could have vanished inside the silhouette, now stretching across space. Yet the object had not appeared on sensors moments earlier. It simply existed, as if reality itself had suddenly decided to reveal something previously hidden. Commander Sarah Kane felt her pulse racing. Every instinct told her to look away, yet she could not. The lights continued watching, unblinking, ancient, patient. Then every monitor aboard Odyssey activated simultaneously. Text appeared across hundreds of screens. Not a warning this time. A message, a conversation. We did not expect you so soon. Several crew members exchanged terrified glances. The sentence remained visible for nearly 10 seconds. Then another appeared. You are young. You should not be here. The ship's communication systems had not detected an incoming transmission. No radio waves, no laser signals, no identifiable source. The words simply appeared. as though inserted directly into the vessel's system, or directly into their minds. The crew attempted to establish contact. No response. Then Dr. Mei Tan, the ship's lead physicist, noticed something extraordinary. The object wasn't emitting energy. It wasn't absorbing energy. It wasn't interacting with space-time in any measurable way. According to every instrument aboard Odyssey, the enormous shape did not exist, and yet everyone could clearly see it. A contradiction, a physical impossibility. Hours passed. The giant lights remained motionless. Watching, the crew worked continuously, analyzing every sensor reading. Eventually, a disturbing conclusion emerged. The structure orbiting the distant planet, the impossible station they had traveled to investigate, was not the source of the warning. It was a prison built around something much older than the civilization that created it. The realization changed everything. Humanity had assumed the alien signal originated from an advanced species. Now evidence suggested those beings were merely caretakers, guardians, wardens, protecting the universe from whatever lay imprisoned nearby. Sarah ordered a closer examination of the station. A small shuttle departed Odyssey carrying 6 specialists. The journey took nearly 12 hours. As they approached, details became clearer. The station's surface was covered with symbols, millions of them, thousands of languages, thousands of civilization. Every warning conveyed the same idea. Keep it asleep. Do not look beyond. Do not cross the threshold. The shuttle docked inside a massive chamber. For the first time in history, humans stepped into an alien structure. The interior appeared abandoned. No bodies, no machinery in operation, no signs of life, only silence. The explorers moved carefully through enormous corridors, illuminated by a faint blue glow. The architecture seemed impossible. Walls shifted subtly when nobody watched. Distances appeared to change. Rooms felt larger inside than outside. Several team members reported dizziness. One became convinced he had heard voices, yet recordings captured nothing. Hours later, they reached the central chamber. The discovery waiting there would alter humanity forever. A sphere, perfectly smooth, approximately 200 meters in diameter, floating unsupported above the floor. Thousands of energy beams connected it to the surrounding structure, maintaining containment, maintaining imprisonment, and projected across its surface was a single image. The universe, not a map, not a model, the actual universe. Stars, galaxies, clusters, every known structure, rotating slowly within the sphere. Dr. Tan stared in disbelief. The representation contained impossible detail, far beyond anything humanity could have observed. Then she noticed something even stranger. A dark region near the edge of the projection. Not empty space, not a gap, something missing. A section of reality itself appeared absent, as though part of the universe had been removed, deleted. The sphere suddenly activated. Light flooded the chamber. A voice emerged, calm, ancient, tired. At last, someone knew. The explorers froze. The voice continued. For millions of your years, we have waited. The translation occurred instantly. No technology was visible. No speaker existed. The words simply became understandable. Who are you? Sarah asked. A long silence followed. Then came the answer. We were the first watchers. The voice explained that billions of years earlier, before Earth existed, before the sun formed, an ancient civilization had spread across countless galaxies. They explored everything, studied everything, conquered distance itself. Eventually, they discovered something impossible. A boundary, not the edge of space, not the edge of time, something beyond both, a place where reality ended. At first, they believed they had found the limits of the universe. They were wrong. What they discovered was a crack, a fracture, a wound in existence. Beyond it lay something else, something older than the cosmos itself, something that should never have been observed. The explorers listened in stunned silence. The first watchers had sent expeditions beyond the fracture. None returned unchanged. Those that came back described impossible geometries, infinite darkness, living mathematics, structures larger than galaxies, and a presence, always the same presence, watching, waiting, learning, The descriptions matched the dreams experienced aboard Odyssey, matched the enormous eyes outside, matched the feeling of being observed. The first watchers soon realized a horrifying truth. The presence beyond the fracture had noticed them, and once it noticed something, it never forgot. Civilizations began disappearing. Entire star systems vanished. Galaxies fell silent. The more attention the entity received, the stronger its influence became. The watchers eventually understood the mechanism. Observation worked both ways. When intelligent minds studied the entity studied them. Knowledge itself became dangerous. Merely learning about its existence created a connection, a bridge, a path, and through that path, it could reach reality. Millions of civilizations attempted containment. Most failed. Eventually, thousands united. The station was constructed. The fracture was sealed. Warnings were distributed throughout the cosmos. And for billions of years, the prison held. Until now, Sarah felt cold. A terrible realization formed in her mind. The signal, she whispered. We followed the signal. The voice answered immediately. Yes, the final warning. The last attempt to prevent curiosity from repeating our mistake. Dr. Tan looked toward the projection. If the prison is still functioning, why are you afraid? Silence filled the chamber. Then the ancient voice responded. Because it is no longer asleep. Every light inside the station suddenly dimmed. Alarms echoed through distant corridors. The energy beams surrounding the sphere flickered. Once, twice, then stabilized. The voice spoke again. For billions of years, containment remained successful. Then your species received the signal. Then you began listening, studying, searching, observing. The explorers stared at one another. Understanding arrived like a knife. Humanity had not merely discovered the warning. Humanity had activated something. By searching for answers, they had unknowingly strengthened the connection. The voice continued. It knows you now. It knows Earth. It knows where your species began. Outside the station, the giant eyes bright. Every sensor aboard Odyssey erupted with alerts. The enormous shape was moving, not through space, through something deeper, something underneath reality itself. The containment sphere trembled violently. Hairline fractures appeared across its surface. The Watcher's final prison was beginning to fail, and somewhere beyond the stars, far away on Earth, billions of people continued searching for answers, unaware that the greatest danger in the universe was no longer trapped. It had finally found humanity, and it was looking back. The signal beneath the stars. Part 4. The last observation. The first signs appeared on Earth 3 weeks later. At first, nobody connected the events. A telescope in Chile recorded stars changing position for a fraction of a second. An observatory in Antarctica reported impossible gravitational fluctuations. Satellites detected brief distortions that appeared and vanished before analysis could be completed. Individually, each anomaly seemed insignificant. Together, they formed a terrifying pattern. Something was approaching, not through normal space, not through any dimension humanity understood. The warnings from Odyssey reached Earth months later. By then, it was already too late. Human civilization entered a state of global emergency. For the first time in history, every major nation cooperated completely. Wars ended. Political conflicts vanished. Economic rivalries became meaningless. Humanity faced a single shared problem: survival. The recordings from the alien station were studied continuously. Every word spoken by the first Watchers was analyzed. Again and again, scientists searched desperately for a weakness, a solution, anything. The answer eventually emerged from an unlikely source. A 16-year-old student in India noticed something hidden within the Watcher's historical records. The entity did not attack civilizations immediately. Sometimes millions of years passed before contact occurred, sometimes only centuries. The timing seemed random, until the student discovered the pattern. The entity grew stronger through observation. Knowledge, awareness, attention. Every civilization destroyed by the presence had one thing in common. They learned too much. Humanity had always believed knowledge was power. Now knowledge itself appeared dangerous. A secret meeting was organized beneath the headquarters of the newly formed Earth Coalition. Scientists, philosophers, Linguists, artificial intelligence specialists, military leaders, all gathered to discuss a possibility nobody wanted to consider. What if the only way to survive was forget it? The idea sounded absurd, yet the evidence supported it. The entity existed beyond normal reality. Its connection to intelligent species depended upon recognition, awareness, memory. If humanity collectively stopped observing it, perhaps the connection could weaken, perhaps even disappear. Many rejected the proposal immediately. How could an entire civilization forget something so enormous? The answer arrived from another direction: artificial intelligence. During the previous century, humanity had created systems capable of managing global information networks. Now those systems proposed an unprecedented solution: a controlled erasure. Every image, every recording, every document, every reference, everything connected to the entity would be removed, destroyed, deleted. The process would become known as the Great Silence. Billions opposed the plan. Others supported it. Arguments filled every nation. Some claimed knowledge must never be sacrificed. Others argued survival mattered more. As debates continued, the situation worsened. Across Earth, strange phenomena increased. People began reporting identical dreams, the same dreams experienced by Odyssey. Infinite darkness, a distant glow, something waiting, something watching. Entire cities reported the phenomenon simultaneously. Children drew pictures of enormous eyes. Astronomers observed regions of sky-changing shape. Several spacecraft disappeared without explanation. The connection was strengthening. Time was running out. Then Odyssey transmitted one final discovery. While examining the station's archives, Dr. Maytan uncovered information hidden deep within the containment system. The entity had a name, not a true name, a translation, the closest possible approximation. The Watchers called it the Observer, not because it watched reality, but because reality existed within its observation. The revelation shattered conventional science. According to the oldest records, the universe itself might be a byproduct of something observing it. A thought, a dream, a perception. The observer existed outside creation, outside time, outside causality. The Watchers had never defeated it, because defeating it was impossible. One does not defeat the ocean, one survives it. The final archive contained a message left specifically for future civilization. The recording showed one of the last surviving Watchers. Its appearance was impossible for humans to fully comprehend, yet its words translated clearly. If you are hearing this, we have failed. The figure paused. Do not seek victory. Do not seek understanding. Do not seek answers. We made that mistake. The image flickered. We believed intelligence existed to know everything. We were wrong. The ancient being leaned forward and spoke the sentence that would define humanity's future. Some doors exist only to remain closed. The transmission ended. Hours later, Earth implemented the Great Silence. The largest coordinated action in human history began. Databases were erased, archives deleted, servers destroyed, observatories shut down, research facilities dismantled. Artificial intelligences searched every network, removing references faster than humans could create new copies. Millions protested. Millions more cooperated. Gradually, information disappeared. The observer vanished from public knowledge. Years passed, then decades. The dreams became less frequent. The distortions weakened. The strange astronomical anomalies faded. Humanity slowly recovered. A new generation grew up unaware of what had happened. The stars became beautiful again. Curiosity returned to science. Exploration continued. Civilization survived, at least for a while. Nearly 100 years later, a small research station orbiting Neptune detected an unusual signal, a weak transmission, barely distinguishable from background noise. Most systems ignored it automatically, but one young astronomer noticed something strange. The pattern appeared mathematical: prime numbers, perfect ratios, repeating sequences. Her heart began racing. The signal seemed familiar, although she could not explain why. She opened a new analysis file. The computer began decoding. Outside the station, distant stars shone quietly, ancient, silent, Patient, the astronomer leaned closer to her screen. The first translated words slowly appeared. A message, a warning, the same warning, sent across the universe billions of years earlier. The words formed one line at a time. We found the edge. The astronomer frowned. She had never heard those words before, yet somehow they felt important. The final sentence appeared. Do not follow. For several moments she simply stared. Then curiosity took over. The oldest force in intelligent life, the force that built civilization, crossed oceans, reached planets, and searched the stars. She opened a new file, created a new project, and began asking questions. Far beyond reality, beyond galaxies, beyond time itself, something vast and ancient watched. Not with malice, not with hatred, simply with interest. The way a human might watch a distant light flickering in the dark. The observer had existed before the first stars, before the first atoms, before the first moments of creation, and it knew something every civilization eventually learned. Curiosity never dies. No warning is eternal. No silence lasts forever. Because somewhere, someday, someone always looks. And the moment they do, something looks back. The end